What is going on, everybody? It is episode 689 of Pop Culture Crisis. We are back, and I am here once again with my returning co-host. Introduce yourself.
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. I am back. We are back because there was no show yesterday. We're a little bit out of sorts, so please be understanding if there are any mishaps today. We have technical difficulties, mental difficulties.
So not just everything that happened yesterday that Tim tweeted about involving everything, you know, that's a security concern and
it's out in the open.
All of that, which we won't get into heavily. I don't think it's actually important. It's our business to worry about behind the scenes. It happened. It prevented the show from happening yesterday. And then today I get in and I forgot. I was like, oh, wait, on Monday, the Crisis Party wasn't working.
Yeah.
So we're working on that, and it somehow gets reset to where it just keeps playing it repeatedly, back to back to back to back to back. So the whole last...
We could have just done a whole show where the Crisis sound is on repeat the entire time.
That would be great.
That would be a vibe.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Yesterday was frustrating. Like, look, for this show to succeed, we have to be on the air doing the show, right? It hurts both visibility and your ability to actually grow when you're not doing the show because of stupid reasons, which sucks.
Yeah, and then we had another little mishap earlier when we put up the stream. For reasons that we will not name, something we were going to cover, which is controversial.
Yeah, so we're
not going to cover it anymore because YouTube sucks.
We were going to cover something, and so in the chat earlier, I don't remember who it was, if it was Mr. Joker, if it was, hold on.
Someone got all confused because they were in the first waiting room, and then it went private.
Yep.
But we had to do that because we don't want to piss off YouTube censors.
Yeah, that was Bash was saying that he was having trouble doing that.
So like, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
You know.
There's
just a lot going on, but Now,
where were you, by the way?
If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you know this now, but I was out of town because I was at Matt Walsh's movie premiere for Am I Racist? The documentary was very intriguing because I've been wondering if Matt Walsh is racist for years. I've been wondering if I myself am racist, and I finally got the answer I was looking for. But in order to get that information, you'll have to go watch the movie yourself. No spoilers. But it was fun.
They're saying that the sound keeps cutting out. Guys, let us know.
It's always something. What now? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How do we test this?
Guys, let us know. We're gonna sit here and test it. Let us know if it. Let me refresh here.
Put a girl on.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Put a ghost on.
Let us know if there's still problems here, guys.
Refresh, guys. Chat. W Mary. It's not cutting out for me.
Okay.
Sound is fine.
Yeah.
Not racist enough, Mary. I mean, yeah, I was hoping that movie would be a little bit more racist, but.
Yeah. Okay. People are saying.
Everyone is saying like sound is fine, so I guess we're good.
Perfect.
Okay.
We'll just go with it here today. This is why, this is one of the many arguments for like only checking the chat temporarily, right? It's like you end up addressing all of these things and then it ends up being a huge issue. But yeah, guys, it was a hectic last couple of days. So I want to thank all of you for joining us today. Yeah. It's going to be fun. We're going to be, it's not lighthearted. We got stuff to get into.
It's very serious business.
The point being that we're going to have some fun here. We're going to take it. We're not going to be super serious today. It's going to be good. So
it's a chill show. We're chill. We're relaxed.
You're like pulling the Hulk Hogan or the Randy Savage where like you're literally shaking as you're saying it. Yeah. And before we get started, guys, hit the like button on this video, subscribe to this channel. If you have not done so already, please and thank you. Share the video with your friends, your family, your loved ones, everyone in between. And remember that all super chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read those super chats right then and there. And then we will do our best to get back on topic. So if you're ready, Mary, we can just get started. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
First things first. I saw this and I thought nothing could possibly go wrong. It looks like Apple has revealed that they will soon allow users to AI generate their own emojis.
I think that my cousin actually introduced this to me because I was not aware of it. And she made a peach emoji that was pooping out the poop emoji. So that's where this immediately went.
That's immediately what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
But the other ones I don't mind. A bird with headphones on and a cat with sunglasses. Those are going to be my favorites.
I just imagine a lot of people are going to make it their business to like start making things that they know for a fact will get in trouble.
Wait, but what do you have in mind? Are you just not going to say because you don't want to inspire it?
Yeah, well, and just I don't know what's
know.
allowed on the street. I'm just sure there's stuff that can be created that will
Probably
not
the fire
fly.
emoji and the our U.S. flag emoji.
Oh, that's I mean that's a pretty tame one, but yeah, that's about right.
Or
there.
Here's the one that actually was getting like censored, the rainbow flag with the X over it.
Oh, can't do that.
Might be made impossible.
Can't do that.
We have a 20 from Not That Jon Stewart. Put a ghost on. Well, I'm here. We put a ghost on.
We put a ghost on.
You got what you wanted, right?
I can just think of a lot of them. I'm not creative enough to come up with it, but I watch a lot of Instagram reels.
How about the building emoji and the plane emoji?
Well, that's what we can't talk about today. That's literally, so what happened, guys, is
well, we can't say the words.
No, we can. I don't know if it's that. It's look. Okay, what the hell? So there was. Go ahead, tell people what we were going to cover because I got.
Are you sure?
Yep.
We're not going to like trip any censors here. I don't want to risk the channel today of all days.
I mean, maybe it's better not to. I don't know.
We were going to talk about Gen Z's signature post-ironic sense of humor in regard to a certain national tragedy. And its anniversary is today. Mm-hmm. That I'm not going to even say what it was because I don't want to get shadow banned.
And we made a thumbnail that involved it in the name, and then there was all sorts of funny business going on with the upload. So I set up the live stream, and it wouldn't let me leave comments on anything, and it wasn't showing up on any of the YouTube channels. So I don't actually know what it was that was doing that, but yeah.
If we had to guess, it was just certain keywords in the title of a video that we're not going to try again.
That would be my guess.
We're going to play it safe now.
I signed back in. It should be good here. Again,
I don't know why we're being like plagued with problems this week
there we go.
In general.
There we go. All right, we're good to go. No worries on that. Again, be mindful of whatever emojis you create with AI. My new favorite. So one of the trends that was very popular for a while, it was like AI makes a country song part 355, and it's just all they are just like homoerotic songs.
Yeah.
The new trend that I'm partial to is aliens make an AI makes an alien song, and it's just about probes.
Well, you could make that right now if you wanted to. Just, put in the prompt.
I love it.
Make it a reality.
All right, let's move on. Come on, guys. So I put this tweet out the other day. So Tyrese Gibson has been arrested. He was not arrested. He was detained.
What's the difference?
He was detained at the hearing. For not paying enough child support. He can avoid this by paying $73,000 within the next 48 hours. I said, well, apparently the Fast and Furious got it wrong. The most important thing isn't always family.
Well, when this was first reported, it was getting close to 48 hours ago. So what's his status? Tyrese Gibson, it says, has been arrested for failing to pay enough child support. The judge has handed him an opportunity to avoid jail time if he pays $73.5K within 48 hours. People got really confused when they saw this report because they thought it meant his monthly payment in child support equals $73,000. It's not.
Yeah.
I read into it, and this is just a case of people not reading past headlines and not clicking on the link. But since his agreement in, I believe, 2022, he's been ordered to pay about $10,000 a month.
It's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money, but come on, it's Tyrese Gibson, so it's not like hurting him. But
there was the old Chris Rock bit about OJ owing $25,000 a month, and that was back in the 90s.
This is back payment that he is owed over time. And the mother's attorney said Mr. Gibson has chosen not to abide by the court's child support order and was held in willful contempt yesterday for the third time since the conclusion of his divorce trial. He has only paid the proper child support amount 3 times in the 25 months since the divorce trial.
Like, look,
not beating the allegations, bro.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't know how the relationship ended, whatever it may be. I do know that auto pay exists, and if you've got the money, like I'm not saying it's right. Like I don't know what their agreement was. I don't know if they're bleeding this dude dry. I don't know, but.
Well, the payment that they demanded within 48 hours included paying for her legal fees to bring this to the attention of the court, you know, that he wasn't paying any child support.
The issue between like how the state interacts with relationships is a whole nother topic that we would have to get onto if we were to do. We'd have to get, you know what we could do? We get Rolo back on.
You know what's funny though is he was divorced before this marriage.
So this is like his second divorce.
Yeah.
Okay.
So getting divorced is just like bro's favorite hobby. He just loves getting divorced.
It's his favorite thing. It's like every time.
It's just, you know, some of the red pill talk about marriage and divorce, like, you know, men are finally waking up and they're finally like realizing that marriage is a bad deal for them. I just think if that were true, if men actually were en masse like coming to this realization that like marriage is bad for them, then you would see lower remarriage rates in divorced men. But the majority of men who get divorced get remarried actually quite shortly after.
I mean, I remember hearing some statistic that the second marriage ends up being the more successful one.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. That's just could be something I heard. It's one of those things where last night kind of proved it more than anything. It's like I'm done with everything on the internet because unless it's something I care enough about to then go deep into and double check, I just kind of assume everything's
with that stat. Is it success by self-reported happiness and contentedness in the relationship,
like
staying married? Right. That's different.
Doesn't mean they're
because
happy. You're
more likely to probably settle with the second spouse you pick. Once you're older, you just don't want to go through the whole process again. So it's complicated.
How do you feel about going to like multiple weddings for somebody? Like when they're getting married like more than one time? Like this is one of those things where,
I don't know.
Look, if like when I get married,
I could get into some examples.
It's going to be the one time. It's going to be the one time. But I can imagine that a lot of the people who hold these like second or third weddings, like don't they feel a little bit weird? Like, hey, we already did this. Come
like, aren't you embarrassed? We're certainly not bringing you a second, third, or fourth wedding gift.
Like you do not get two blenders. You bring the blender. You re-gift the blender from the first marriage.
At that point, you better be giving me a gift for going to your fourth wedding. But well, for me, it's different.
Okay, so in the chat, Brofist says divorce rates go up with each marriage, with each remarriage.
Right. Because if you're, someone with a propensity to end a marriage, you're probably going to do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
And those people are actually the reason why the average divorce rate is so high, which is a white pill, a hidden white pill for those of you.
Sketch therapy in the chat is delivering fake news. He says Brett is getting married. Congrats. No, not yet.
That's not what Brett said.
That is not what I said. But not yet.
Also, what you said is what most people think. At least I would hope most people getting married think this is it. This is the one.
You should have enough confidence in your ability to choose, right? Like.
But some people these days, I bet that some people go into their first marriage thinking like, this is my first marriage. This is my starter marriage. And after this, I'm going to use this relationship for where I'm at in life right now. And then I'm going to graduate to something else.
That's awful.
I know it's awful, but
that's awful.
Kind of the sad truth for a lot of people.
It's not treating it as what it's supposed to be, which is like something that you're supposed to take very, very seriously and do one time. There's no sanctity in that.
Of course.
When you're just treating it as some aspect of your evolution as a person, not your evolution becoming two people.
It's about self-actualization and like optimizing your lifestyle with the addition of this other person who might as well be a Peloton in your house. Like
that's depressing. That's unbelievably depressing.
Yeah. Like the fact that the phrase starter husband even exists is so depressing.
It's up there. It's like, I still remember back in like old episodes of CSI back in the early 2010s, like mid 2000s, where they would have divorce parties. They would have like a murder happen at a divorce party, and the absolute cynicism behind, granted, it's like if it's a show in Miami, you know, they're vapid people. Like they're showing you rich, vapid people. It's not showing you the average everyday person. They can't afford to do such a thing.
Sure.
And Hollywood plays to the extremes for the sake of storytelling. But it's not like we've gotten any more serious about how we take those types of commitments these days as a culture.
Well, of course it's a show, but like divorce parties are a thing.
Yep.
Like people throw celebrations of their quote unquote decoupling. That's something people do.
I did see this great meme earlier. It says like divorce selfie, and it's a guy like at the office, and is like apparently the woman he's divorcing is like right there and looks really upset, and the divorce lawyer's in the background.
That's not a good look.
No, it's not.
Ugh.
So Tyrese, you're gonna have to pay your bills. Otherwise, how are you gonna film the next Fast and the Furious movie if you get locked up?
Yeah.
Seriously?
So is he in jail right now?
I don't think so, because this was on the 10th. This one I have here is from the 10th, so it's from yesterday.
Okay.
So,
well, stay safe out there, Tyrese.
and not just that, he's also got his lawsuit with Home Depot, and
he's busy.
He had his clip the other day where he talked about his mom made him act mentally handicapped at the.
Right. Yeah. He's been hustling since day one. Yeah. That's where he learned it.
Yeah.
I can't pay child support. I'm mentally handicapped.
That's what he should have done.
But you also showed me that Jonathan Majors is dealing with legal troubles.
Well, yeah,
lots of legal bills.
Yep.
And Megan Good, his new woman, is reportedly paying for her man's legal bills.
This is a rumor. Yeah, it says alleges that Megan Good, Coretta covers Jonathan Majors' bills and child support. Says the insiders are raising concern. Think it's a bad look.
She's really embodying, you could say, Coretta Scott King, Michelle Obama. Is
that what Michelle Obama did? Did she cover Barack's bills when he wasn't paying them?
She's a ride or die bitch. Okay. That's what that is. That's ride or die behavior.
What was it that you said? It's like, it's the meme where like the girl's paying and the guy's like got his arms around her.
I think it's called like the baby daddy hug, where the baby daddy is at the cash register hugging his baby mama from behind while she pays for their meal. Yeah. And he says, "I'll get it next time, babe."
And she's just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what she said the last 5 times.
So I guess that's what Jonathan Majors is doing.
You saw a lot of, if you're old like me and you've been to the mall more than once or twice in your life, you saw that on plenty of occasions at the food court, okay? It was always at the food court.
You know it when you see it.
See, that wasn't the way you described it. I said, that's not what I saw. It was always like he's got his hands in her back pocket and he's like looking over her shoulder. It's like, man, that dude did not pay for lunch today.
Yeah.
It's a problem. All right, let's move on then, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, not that one. Let's go ahead and do, what would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
I think we should start with cute.
Cute? Okay, we'll do that first then. First things first, we got a couple of them here. This one is from Dead Man. Says, cute of the day / derp of the day.
Is that a groundhog?
I like it, whatever.
I don't know what it is, but it's
oh my gosh.
Cute.
Looks kind of evil in an awesome way there.
Okay, that one's a little scary.
Yeah, it's hungry.
I guess it's a groundhog. I don't know.
Let's do one more. All right, from Tony, says, I keep shaking him off, but he wants me to throw the change up. Did we do this one already? I
don't know if I don't think I saw it on
Okay,
Monday,
well, I like it. It actually looks kind of angry there.
A little bit perturbed.
And look, whatever you guys are doing right now, not to make this political or anything, but, you know, if you're anywhere near Springfield, Ohio,
oh my goodness, protect your PCC pets.
Your PCC pets. In fact, guys, I want you all to resubmit your pets in honor of protecting them, to save them from everything that's going on in the world right now.
Yeah, just make sure you keep your cats inside, y'all. It's a dangerous world out there. It's a human eat cat world.
Hashtag PCC pets, hashtag cute of the day, and then tag me in the show in there. You know, keep your pets safe. It's the best thing.
Up.
All right, let's do cringe now. And is this one bad or super bad?
It's from Steve, formerly on Blue's Clues. He makes TikToks for adults now.
Okay.
Hello. What's going on? How are you? What's new?
The glasses are the worst part.
Are those the ones that play music?
Really?
Have you seen those?
No.
Yeah, looks like the ones that play music.
So we're supposed to be telling him about our day right now?
So it's like a weird interactive.
Okay, Steve. So the crisis meter wasn't working earlier, and I was really upset about it.
Not just that, man. I couldn't come to work yesterday. We're behind. I'm struggling.
There was
right
like this
now.
man in a dress, and like it's just been really tough this week.
I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Why are you smiling? It's not funny. Steve, take my problems seriously.
And why are you playing this music? I feel like
Turn
you're
off the
laughing at me. Frankly, I don't think you're taking this seriously. It's a bit disrespectful.
Just wanted to check in. You look great.
I'm now being harassed by Steve from Blue's Clues.
I also saw this one the other day. Did you see this? I think this is this one. It says, imagine being excited to send your girl off to a horror festival.
A horror festival?
You make your own judgments here.
Okay.
We're muting this because I'm not getting a copyright on this one.
So they're at the airport.
They're at the airport.
Okay.
She's got her shorts on. Or I'm sorry, she's got her sweatpants on.
Okay.
Okay, and she runs. Wee!
And then where is she?
According to this tweet, horror festival. I don't know when that is. I've never been there.
Whatever you do, don't send your girl to Burning Man. She's gonna end up in the uncomfortably moist sex dome.
And as we know, the embarrassing part of this is the fact that he made the thing with her.
Or wasn't it her making the TikTok? I would assume.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That she made it, and he agreed to be in it. I love this response. So, a guy says, again, I feel like guys who have no interest in clothes don't understand that women commonly dress for other women. If you see a woman dressing in a very revealing way, they are probably doing it for their female friends.
Okay. I'm at a loss for words. Well, I saw somebody had like a rebuttal to that TikTok saying actually she is going to the music festival to get attention in a quote unquote controlled environment.
I saw that. So it's like she can be looked at, but not approached. Yeah, I read that.
Which doesn't that just go for like going out in public, period? I don't know. That you can dress like a hoe anywhere. There are no rules.
Okay.
Honestly, she was kind of dressed like a hoe at the airport. Why is your whole stomach out? Put that away. Okay. I mean, at least she's skinny, whatever.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then, shall we? Big news dropped last night just after the debate.
Yes, everyone has been anxiously waiting for Taylor Swift to make her endorsement for the 2024 election. And it finally happened last night. After major pressure, by the way, from the media, it was getting intense. Variety published this piece titled, "If Taylor Swift doesn't endorse Kamala Harris, she'd be entering a new era." One where I presumably think she would be problematic.
And it's an alt-right era.
Yeah, that would be her alt-right era. And when they published this, I actually saw Alex Clark, a well-known Trump-supporting Swiftie that we've had on the show before, give her take, saying Taylor Swift is not the left's puppet. George Soros bought the rights to her masters, and now his party is trying to control her. Taylor Swift should let the Democratic Party know that they need to earn her vote, just like the rest of Americans, and that her endorsement is not ever guaranteed. Perhaps she was disturbed, as many Democrats were, by their plug and play with Kamala Harris and the coup against Joe Biden.
She can't actually believe that Taylor Swift cares or knows anything about that.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Or perhaps Taylor is taking RFK Jr.'s words to heart that the Democrat Party is not the same as it once was and is deeply corrupt. A man she knows personally and trusts because she dated one of RFK Jr.'s sons in the past. Perhaps Taylor Swift is a human being and not a product or thing to control and discard at your wish. Democrats don't value Taylor Swift as a human being, and it's painfully obvious. So, all of that being said, she endorsed Kamala literally a day later.
We've got her post here.
Yes, so she posted on Instagram one of the photos from her Time magazine cover shoot where she's holding her cat and looking intensely at the camera. And she signed her open letter as a childless cat lady. Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. Here's what she had to say. Like many of you, I watched the debate tonight. If you haven't already, now is a great time to do your research on the issues at hand and the stances these candidates take on topics that matter to you the most.
I'm told pretty regularly now that the claim, the comment, do your research is actually a racist dog whistle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because black people don't have computers.
It's an alt-right dog whistle to say do your research.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just like expecting people to have driver's licenses.
A pop star, I would actually expect a pop star to do less research than the average person because they're so extremely
Don't
busy.
do research. Listen to me.
Yes. Right?
As a voter, I make sure to watch and read everything I can about their proposed policies and plans for this country. Recently, I was made aware that AI of me falsely endorsing Donald Trump's presidential run was posted to his site. It really conjured up my fears around AI and the dangers of spreading misinformation. It brought me to the conclusion that I need to be very transparent about my actual plans for this election as a voter. The simplest way to combat misinformation is with the truth. I will be casting my vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz in the 2024 presidential election. I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we can accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades. I've done my research and I've made my choice. Your research is all yours to do, and the choice is yours to make. I also want to say, especially to first-time voters, remember that in order to vote, you have to be registered. I also find it's much easier to vote early. I'll link where to register and find early voting dates and info in my story. With love and hope, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady.
Yep.
So she is obviously making a backhanded dig at JD Vance's comments about childless cat ladies there because evidently, she is one and she's proud of being one.
Nobody could have been surprised by this. I mean, I thought maybe there was a chance she just didn't endorse at all. I still think that that's what was going to happen if Biden had stayed in.
Well, she clearly was waiting for the first debate between Trump and Kamala to happen.
Which is why none of this is real. Like, it happened immediately after. It's as pre-planned as anything on planet Earth.
She probably didn't even write it herself. She had her team write this statement out. And she's acting like she needed an excuse to do so. Like, oh, well, there were these AI memes of me endorsing Trump, so I had to say something. When it's really like, no, you just wanted to put your endorsement out at the time when it would trend the most, which is directly after the first debate.
It would have been really funny if she's like, by the way, I got like version 760 of Tortured Poets Department. Go and pick it up today.
Like this is this is my 2024 version of the Tortured Poets Department out now on iTunes.
Look, a lot of celebrities have spoken up about this. I talked the other day when you weren't here about The Rock and Elton John kind of making passing comments that were less rude about Trump than a lot of things have been in the last several years. If somebody wants to vote for somebody else, I think Dave Portnoy said, like, whatever, like I'm voting for the other guy. She can vote for who she wants to. The problem is that for the last 10 years, they've, ran with this narrative that the other guy is insane and he's Satan and he's a fascist. And how do you on one hand let celebrities call a dude a fascist and say that we're falling into fascism? They love that saying, but then also say, do your research and make your vote for yourself. If your moral outrage was consistent, you wouldn't be telling people to do their research. You'd tell them they were wrong.
Right.
If your outrage was actually real and had any basis in reality, which it doesn't.
Well, actually, after Taylor Swift posted her endorsement, Alex Clark followed it up. And she said, actually, here's why this is a good thing. Because Taylor Swift is encouraging her fans to do their own research and make up their own minds instead of telling them what to think. So that means she's actually more of a free thinker than most Democrats out there who would just post an infographic about like Palestine or IVF or something and just tell you you're a bad person if you don't vote the same way I do.
It's something I think it was either me and you or it might have been on Monday we were talking about. When a celebrity says the generic go out and vote, everyone knows what that means.
Of course, yes. It's a tacit endorsement of whoever is the blue candidate, right?
Correct.
But it gives you the plausible deniability that you're encouraging civic participation, no matter what the cause. But like, that's not really true. It could have been worse, right? Because she didn't say anything disparaging about Trump supporters. She didn't say anything disparaging about Trump himself, even. And most importantly, she made sure she didn't lose any fans.
Oh no, I saw a really funny post that said like she's between a rock and a hard place. She either endorses Trump and loses 20% of her revenue right now, or she endorses Kamala Harris and capital gains and unrealized gains tax takes 500 million from her down the line. It's like, what do you do? I was like, then you don't endorse anyone.
Well, I mean, when you have like a 10-figure net worth, none of it really matters to you at that point.
Yeah.
It's just fun money. But I saw that Popbase posted Trump's immediate reaction to the endorsement.
It's like when you see like the finance YouTubers or finance influencers like, money's not real.
It's kind of not.
It's not real. They're like, it's like the person's like, I live 3 lives every day. I get up at 6 a.m. From 6 a.m. to noon. I go in and do an ice bath, and then I do my reading, and then I journal, and then it's like I get done and I make breakfast for my. This is like I've lived 3 lives before you've even gotten out of bed.
We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. Long live PCC. Brett Mary 2024. That's the ticket. If you're not voting for either candidate, you can feel free to write us in. We'll see what happens with that. But Popbase posted Trump's reaction to the Taylor Swift endorsement, and he looks like he couldn't care less.
Let's see what he says here.
What is your reaction to Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris? I have no idea. Mr. President, what is your
He's like afterwards. He's like Brittany Mahomes is better anyways, as if they're in any way in the same sphere.
No.
Like just because they're friends, those don't actually go together.
But following Taylor Swift's endorsement, Harris's campaign took full advantage of the moment, and now Harris Wall's friendship bracelets are up for sale.
Again, remember what we were talking about: coordinated and presented in a professional way.
Yeah, so
this had to be made ahead of time.
You can now buy a $20 Harris Walls friendship bracelet on their campaign website. Are you ready for it? Harris Walls friendship bracelets are here. American-made, 2 adjustable waterproof bracelets with clay beads, available now for pre-order. And purchase is a donation to the Harris Victory Fund. And it just has Harris Walls in the beads there.
I got more of the ick that I get from word salad that doesn't actually mean anything. When they talked about in Taylor Swift's post about it, she says she fights for the rights and causes I believe in, that we need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader. Like, you're just making stuff up. There's no evidence of that at all.
I mean, I think what they're going with is the same rhetoric that Kamala used last night. If you watched the debate, you didn't watch it, but it's about like, you know, I'm the safety and security candidate. I'm here to make you feel comforted and secure, and I'm here to console you. I'm Kamala. I'm the Longhouse candidate. That's what she's going for. That's the angle.
I think my policy will be just, whoever it is, I'm not voting for whoever Dick Cheney and Mitt Romney want in office.
She was like going on about like the late great hero John McCain.
Do you think that do you think how many of these people do you think translates to votes? Here's the thing: I think it ends up translating a lot because it feels that women are more invested in politics than men, especially in an election cycle that has so much to do with abortion.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this mobilizes an extremely large amount of people, of women.
Yes, women. I mean, yeah. Like it or not, celebrity worship is commonplace in our culture. And
it's so weird.
Taylor Swift's presidential endorsement matters a heck of a lot. You know, you can't get around that. People are calling this the most important, most impactful celebrity endorsement in any presidential election ever. And that might actually be true. You know, just because you're not one of the people who's impacted by it does not negate its impact. It is a huge deal. And Taylor Swift is now even a celebrity among celebrities. Like, think about that. It's like a different echelon where celebrities were waiting for her endorsement. Like, they were waiting for her.
Yeah, there's a lot of social capital around it, given who her fan base is. I think the fact that her fan base is uniquely involved in politics and seems to care heavily about this stuff far more than, say, somebody who would be the opposite, like a Logan Paul. Like, even if whoever they endorse, you know, if they endorse Trump, that doesn't matter. They won't mobilize men the way that she will mobilize women. Because women want to, you know, get into, make sure all of their, everybody's safe. You know, they want to limit your freedom in the name of safety.
Yeah, I mean, voter registration.
Their neuroticism will be the end of things.
Voter registration for women is up like by over 100% right now.
Yep.
You know, I'm not really the biggest fan of the 19th Amendment, but this is the reality we live in, guys. And right now, after the endorsement came out, hashtag Elon is creepy is trending on X because Elon's response says, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life."
Well, clearly they don't care about cats given who they're voting for.
He also said toxoplasmosis is a danger to our democracy.
I saw that.
But then after that, now that Elon is creepy is trending, Elon's child, Vivian, took to Threads to make a statement about this. Vivian said the timing for the Taylor Swift endorsement of Kamala honestly couldn't have been better. Can't wait to see Swifties at the polls. Also, yes, I saw the tweet from Elon.
Yep.
Heinous incel nonsense is in fact heinous incel nonsense.
I don't think he can be an incel given that the person talking about this is literally
has
his
like
progeny.
20 kids. I don't really have anything to add to it. It's just abhorrent. That much is obvious. And if you don't see how, then you're part of the problem. I would just like to say to my audience members, don't let people talk to you like that. It's disgusting, belittling, and incredibly sexist. You deserve better. I mean, I think because she made abortion, the issue of abortion, such a focal point in her statement, that it's almost her deciding issue. Him saying in response, "I'm going to impregnate you," is like very on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't just all this for her. There was also the blackout campaign that had gotten pitched right before all of this happened.
Right. Before Taylor's endorsement of Kamala, the Swifties were absolutely losing their minds. They might still be annoyed that she took this long to make her statement, but I saw one Swiftie say, "To all my POC and marginalized Swifties who are struggling with seeing Taylor with Brittany Mahomes, I see you, I'm with you, I love you."
We mentioned that on
and
Monday.
then there was a new campaign for Swifties, the Swiftie Blackout. They said, "This is not a hate post. I do not wish harm on Taylor or anyone. This is only a warning to show Taylor how many she hurt and what she could lose if she keeps going this privileged route."
Meaning not saying what they want her to say at the time they want her to say it.
The plan for the Taylor Swift blackout in the event that she did not endorse Kamala was for all the Swifties interested to unfollow Taylor on all social media platforms, to not listen to her music for 24 hours on the 12th of September, on the day of the VMAs.
Swiftie level impossible.
And then also at exactly 1:13 p.m. Eastern time, share the hashtag RIP Miss Americana, which refers to the title of her Netflix documentary in which she like came out as a Democrat.
Yeah.
So, they're unhinged, but she placated them anyway, so they're not gonna do the blackout, thank goodness.
She gave in.
I'm not surprised by it, but I was getting more and more excited at the possibility that she wouldn't make an endorsement.
I think that was actually what would have happened if Biden had stayed in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that she was like waiting for Kamala to like actually make a showing of herself as a competitor.
Yep.
But we have more political stuff to get into after this. We'll get to Super Chats first. Shane H. Wilder, happy welcome back Wednesday. Brett and Mary. Mary, I trust your handlers treated you well. LOL, I tried the Baja Blast gelato for science. On a scale of boom to doom, I give it a blarg. So I'm assuming that's not good.
There was another person who posted another video of the Costco guys recently. It says Big Justice just looks done. Like he just looks really unhappy in the
But
whole
I don't
thing.
remember which one Big Justice is.
AJ is the dad.
Yes.
Big Justice is the
little
is
guy.
the kid, yeah.
But the Rizzler is the one who's not related to them.
Yes.
But who is his wife?
I don't know.
I don't even
know.
remember.
I don't think the wife. I don't know if he's married still or if the wife's in the picture. I've never seen the wife in any video.
She was in the Starbucks video.
Was she?
I remember.
All right.
Andrew Jacobs said, "Welcome back, Mary. I know today is 9/11, but to heck with that. I'm going to focus on my 2-year anniversary as a Timcast and adjacent listener in a few days."
There you go.
So we're the adjacent.
Something to celebrate rather than something to mourn.
Yes.
Let's do 2 more.
The Manic Mustache said, "Hey gang, quick Red Battle Panda update. Just cleared a ½ acre to start growing bamboo for the pandas. Might even have some room to grow some flowers for the misses. Stay toxic, my friend."
He's been giving updates. I have no idea if any of this is actually true.
Yeah,
but
like-
in my head, I'm creating a cartoon
you
called
just-
Battle Pandas.
Stringing us along. I hope this is real. It sounds awesome.
Yes, it does. And then one more from Shane H. Wilder.
I have technical and mental difficulties all the time. You guys are fine, I think, maybe.
Thank you for that.
You be the judge of that. And then
All
we're
right,
good.
let's move on.
Okay, so we've talked about Chappell Groan a couple of times and her meteoric rise to fame in the music industry. Do not ask who she is. You will get banned. I'm just kidding. But Chappell Groan recently did an interview with Rolling Stone, and in that interview, they asked her about her own political stances. And she is far more outspoken than the likes of a Taylor Swift about her political thoughts. And she even noted that she was invited to perform at the White House earlier this year.
Yeah.
She, at the time, publicly made a statement saying she was boycotting it. She was not going to take them up on the invite because of Biden's disappointing stance on Palestine. She got into that more in this interview and revealed new details. But here is an interesting part of it, given Taylor Swift's continued friendship with outspoken Trump supporter Brittany Mahomes. Chappell Groan revealed to Rolling Stone that she has no problem with having Republican friends and relatives. Roan carries more empathy for her conservative relatives and friends back home than people on the coast sometimes understand.
I like how they're talking about them like they're terminally ill.
Or like they're just not the same species as us.
That's an othering of a different sort.
Yes. Quote, "I have family that are very Republican and they love me and I love them. It's so hard for kids who grew up on the coast to understand why maybe I can understand. And I understand all of it that was in me came from fear because I just didn't know." So she's, told people that she's from the Midwest. She's from Trump country. She grew up in a trailer park, etc. It was in the name of her debut album that she's a Midwest princess. So she's saying people from the coast just don't understand what it's like to not have to cut off your family members for supporting a Republican candidate, which I hope would be relatable to anyone without brainworms, but apparently not, because some of her own fans were pissed off at her saying this.
Because
they expect her to cut them off.
It's become completely normalized to disagree with a family member and then just for no reason whatsoever just cut them out of their lives. That's because people are terminally online and they don't appreciate what is actually of value anymore, which is those tangible things that you have that keep you tethered to the world, that have nothing to do with the phone or it's really sad that you live in a world where people that you'll never meet in the real world, who don't actually care about you, who don't actually like you, they like you because you see the world the same as them, how they hold more value to people than the ones who will love you despite whatever your political or ideological beliefs are.
Yeah, I mean, the Twitter activists are chronically online. They don't have jobs. Their only hobby is harassing other people for being problematic and not sufficiently being, acceptably liberal. And now Taylor Swift has been a victim of that. Chappell Groan has been a victim of that. Plenty of people have. I mean, without spoiling anything specifically, there was somebody featured in the Am I Racist doc who talked about how she has cut off basically her entire family for being quote unquote racist. Thank you. Now, her definition of racist, I have no idea what it is, but it's probably not reasonable, right? She admittedly said, like, I cut off, like, basically my entire family because they're racist. Because, like, your Republican uncle made, like, a joke about Mexicans or something one time, and you just decided to, like... Oh, no.
No, it's going to do that. For some reason, it's reset.
Now we're paranoid.
We're good.
Okay, we're good. But people, I mean, these people are real.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I know plenty of people like this who did this with their family members.
people who cut off contact with you also.
Yeah. There's a strong correlation between this stuff happening and people using excessive therapy speak or speaking in heavy buzzwords that come from consistent online use. You're not the bad guy for being willing to be friends with people who see the world differently than you. I would argue that the best thing you can do is not talk about these things with them at all. I understand that the big notion is today, it's like one of the reasons everything is so bad is because we were taught when we were young to not talk about religion or politics because
that's just polite.
Because it's polite. I would argue that that was the right thing to do. I don't think that you can change human nature, and these topics are unbelievably difficult to broach. And
yes.
I get the inclination. The inclination is that, yes, in a perfect world, if you're dealing with people who have a rational brain, who haven't been damaged by too much time online, and who are willing to see things from an opposite point of view, you can have a spirited debate with them. Right? But we don't live in the world anymore where that happens once every couple of months at some family dinner. What happens is it happens, and then you go home and you have a bunch of people online who further denigrate whatever was said and say, oh, it's not just that your uncle disagrees with you. It's not just that your Republican uncle disagrees with you. It's that he's evil. Right? I don't think that
he should be in a gulag. Because
I don't think the average person can go about having these discussions if they care heavily about it.
Well, the problem is that back when that was still a form of social etiquette to not talk about politics around the dinner table
or religion,
whatever. That was a part of social etiquette actually at a time when we had far more common ground on political and religious issues, and we had more homogeneity in that regard. So. Weirdly enough, as people have gotten more and more diverse and divided in their political views and their religious views, the more and more it needs to be brought up, or like people see more of a need to bring it up.
It's funny because like it was the uniparty before. If only if they only knew.
If they only knew how much they had in common at the time, right? But the problem is it's never a two-way street, right? I wouldn't call myself a single issue voter, but if there were a single issue that I voted on, it would be pro-life. Like, I've always been pro-life my entire life to the extremes.
You were born.
Absolutely pro-life. Like, I was born that way. I might as well have been born pro-life. And it is the most important issue to me. Funnily enough, abortion is the most important issue to most women voters, as we can see. But I would never cut off a friend for being pro-choice. I would never do that. I would never write someone off as a potential friend for being pro-choice. But it's never a two-way street, because if they found out my views on abortion, on the other hand, they would write me off as a person and never try to get to know anything else about me because of that single issue that we disagree on. It's never a two-way street, and that's why I don't think I have pro-choice friends, because they are not willing to bridge that gap. I would totally, like, I don't care. Like, we can talk about it or we cannot talk about it. That's fine either way.
Me and you talk about these types of things all the time, and we don't necessarily always agree, but we come from them from at least an understanding that there's at least a rationality behind whatever your argument is on whatever point of discussion.
Yeah, but there's just no benefit of the doubt for the other side.
And it also makes it harder to then even broach the subject if you think, it's kind of like when we were talking about trigger warnings, and they're saying, like, if somebody tells you it's coming, then they're spending the whole time waiting for it to happen. Now, if you know that certain people are quick to anger when disagreed with about specific topics, you just don't even bother going there. The healthiest relationship is when you trust someone enough to be able to broach the subject knowing that nothing catastrophic is going to come from it on their end.
Right, yeah. In another part of this interview with Rolling Stone, they asked Chappell Groan about her invite to perform at the White House. And she told people that she didn't want them presuming she supports Donald Trump after she spoke out against the Biden administration. Quote, "It's not so black and white that you hate one and you like the other. I'm not going to go to the White House because I'm not going to be a monkey for pride." So she assumes she was invited to the White House because she is a lesbian, and therefore she is going to represent the LGBT community during Pride Month. That's why she was invited. But she declined because she was not happy with the Biden administration's actions in regard to Israel and Palestine. And she was signaling heavily to the Twitter activists that she was not going to go along with that. And she elaborated that she actually came up with a whole plan of what she was going to do. She was actually going to accept the invite and then protest Biden at the White House. But she didn't end up going through with it. She says she had something way worse planned. She was originally going to say yes, show up to the White House, and then refuse to perform. Instead, protest with poetry. Quote, "I had picked out some poems from Palestinian women. I was going to do it as tastefully as I could because all I wanted to do was yell. I had to find something that's tasteful and to the point and meaningful and not make it about me and how I feel. I don't know if I'll ever get that close in direct sight of the president ever in my life. This is my shot." She talked it through with her publicist, who was supportive, shouldn't have been, but made a point.
I bet given her image and what she
would it help her?
Yes, it would absolutely. First of all, it adds a more dynamic nature to her beliefs, which is like you see somebody who looks like her and you just assume that they're just a blanket fall in line leftist who will talk about whatever the Dems want them to talk about. It actually makes her more interesting to do this, even if it's for another leftist cause. It just shows that she's actually less of a hive mind than the average leftist.
Possibly. I mean, there's a bifurcation.
I don't know if that would
where
have been
there are
good for
two
her.
hive minds in the left, where it's the hive mind of the Democrat establishment and the hive mind of the Twitter activists.
Maybe
complex.
Like the way I find it more interesting is unique to me, and that actually wouldn't help her because I'm never going to listen to her music. So
well, the most entertaining outcome is the likeliest, and it didn't happen. So.
Yeah.
But her publicist gave her one warning: you F with the president and the government, your security is not the same, and neither is your family's.
I don't think she would have struggled for this at all.
That was her excuse.
She falls
to
in
not
line
go
down.
through with it.
She falls in line on every other issue. I don't think it would have been a problem.
Now, on a similar note, Shailene Woodley recently got a huge barrage of hate because she reposted Melania Trump's statement after the assassination attempt made on Donald Trump. She reposted this on her Instagram story, and people just absolutely had a meltdown over it because she is a Hollywood actress and therefore is not allowed to, act like the Trumps are human beings.
They literally migrated over from the Brittany Mahomes post and were like, we're not done yet.
We're not done outraging yet. So she just, with no commentary, just posted the screenshot of Melania Trump's statement, which if you read it, and you should, is completely unobjectionable in every way.
You want to read it, or do you?
I already read it back when it happened, but basically it was just like a very apolitical call for peace in the political climate, which anyone should be able to get on board with. But merely because Melania Trump is the one who wrote it and posted it, that means you cannot endorse it, you cannot share it. So Shailene Woodley had to defend her action of reposting this.
Well, I mean, this is why they're so good. This is why social media has benefited women so much. Not her, but the female hive mind, is that the ability to shun and other someone is greater than it's ever been in human history.
Yeah.
And just the fact that a comment had to be made at all is a problem.
It's crazy that the self-proclaimed witches are doing the witch hunts these days. But Shailene Woodley said, have we forgotten that 2 human lives were taken? 2 people died. That's sad. That's devastating. I could not understand how people were speaking about something with such passion for death. And it's true. If you were looking through comments at the time from leftists, they were celebrating the assassination attempt. And if it, at the very least, if they weren't celebrating it, they were saying that it was faked. They were saying that it was all a big performance art stunt that they planned ahead of time, which is ridiculous. So completely discrediting the fact that, people lost their lives, and that deserves some just basic human reverence.
There was some memes going around yesterday about, because somebody made like a joke about, was it about like people dying at Trump rallies? And people were like, so you can make fun of other people, but the second, dark humor should be evenly applied all around. It depends on how much you actually care about equal representation for all people who have dark humor. Dark humor can be done by leftists too.
One of the replies here says, it's crazy how so many children in these replies think it's a left-wing position to believe that she did anything wrong. And then the first reply I see is, STFU, you're so ugly and annoying.
Well, yeah,
They're one of the children.
It's the same children who, whenever somebody makes a borderline brain-dead leftist take, they say, she ate.
Ugh.
Right?
They all have pre-programmed responses to everything. You cannot live for the approval of schizos.
Thank you, George, in the chat. It was The Onion that did that. It was The Onion that made that post. It was a very dark joke about about what happened at Trump's rally. And I was like, look, we were going to have a whole thing today about a very dark sense of humor, related to other events in American history. I don't have a problem with it. It doesn't bother me. I'm not offended by such things. I understand that those closest to it, like with all forms of dark humor, the closer you get to the actual example, to the actual incident, it becomes more of a problem. Right? But what you're talking about isn't necessarily that. It's just pre-programmed, brain-dead responses from people who don't look at anyone else outside of their ideological bubble as human.
Yeah, and you posted a segment from Monday, I believe, saying, celebrities are easing up on hating or like dehumanizing Donald Trump.
More like they felt like they didn't need to equivocate or like give some type of disclaimer beforehand, right? So The Rock tells this story about how when he met Donald Trump back in the day, and Donald Trump loved him. And he's like, I want to see the eyebrow, do the eyebrow, and all this stuff. And he didn't feel the need to be like, look, I hate the guy now. But
right.
And the same thing with Elton John, right?
Which is like more important than people might think at first.
I mean, both of those were true. So that, and also Taylor Swift and Brittany Mahomes being willing to take a picture in public together, given that they disagree with things politically. I said, you should not underestimate how important segments like this are to cohesion.
It's an interesting shift that seems to be happening.
I mean, I don't even give them that much credit. I just think that there's no social credit anymore for being that outspoken. Right?
They're being outspoken
against him,
anti-Trump.
Not in the same way for the celebrities.
Because it's played out.
It doesn't have the same.
And he's not the same Trump he used to be either. He's not 2016 Trump, so he's not as volatile, and that means that there's less of a call to disavow him.
Like Elton John's was like the most tacit. He's like, I thought it was great. Like he didn't.
So that either means that celebrities are becoming less annoying, which I think is unlikely.
Very unlikely.
Or it means that Donald Trump is becoming less Donald Trump, which is more likely.
I think it's more that like you can only say fascist and Satan so long before it starts to lose meaning.
I think it probably, genuinely, I think that the reason for it is that Donald Trump represents less of a threat to the system than he might have at first, when he first, made his debut as a politician.
Yeah.
Now he's a politician, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's read some super chats. No Diggity said, welcome back, teen. Put a Dane on.
Put a Dane on.
It would have been nice to have Dane on.
Yep. He was supposed to be on yesterday, but we had to.
There was a whole other mishap that we won't even get into that. Shane H. Wilder said PCC ghost girl emoji. That would be cool.
That'd be good.
Potatoes for Seamus.
Three more.
Is Brett a Fed? Mary, blink if Brett is a Fed.
That's good.
Wait, so Brett proposed to Mocha and Mary. What?
There's been no proposal, okay?
DCNC said Brett is Mocha's dad official. What? Where? Why are all these people jumping to conclusions? What's going on?
So now I'm an official cat dad. I get it.
High Voltage 75 said, how many parties for Brett to pop the question? You all are very concerned with Brett's personal life, and I think you gotta calm down a little bit, buddy.
Let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. We didn't get to get into it earlier this week. Let's talk about what happened with Nikocado Avocado. I can't believe we didn't get to it till now, but it's been a hell of a week.
I am downright shocked that we haven't talked about this on the show yet, but it's a monumental moment.
Well, this broke on Friday after the show, and then on Monday when I was organizing everything and getting it ready, I was like, Kellen, do you want to talk about this? He's like,
Okay, so here's the situation. An infamous mukbang YouTuber who goes by the name Nikocado Avocado recently debuted a dramatic amount of weight loss and revealed that he has been doing a social experiment on his following for the past year while he was behind the camera losing all of the weight that he gained from being a professional eater. So he lost 250 pounds while posting pre-recorded content the entire time, leading everyone to believe that he has been obese the entire time. And he did the big reveal at the end of this social experiment to show everyone that he's back to being skinny again.
Yep.
I don't know if this is inspirational or terrifying or just a moment in internet history.
It's a moment in internet history. It definitely is. Like all the people that we interact with that are pretty terminally online had a take.
He's a lolcow.
Yeah.
He is one of the most infamous lolcows, which is why this is like him trying to turn the tables on everyone who thought that he was the butt of the joke. He's like, hey, actually the joke's on you. I tricked you.
What I want now, more than anything, and I'm skipping to the end here, I want a montage of him getting in shape to Eye of the Tiger.
I want to know, I don't think it was Ozempic because he's so crazy that he wants to suffer it. Like he wants to suffer through it.
So you don't think
the organic way.
You don't think that he took a shortcut. You think he actually did it.
No, I genuinely think he did the work and he took the time without the help of Ozempic. So let's just watch a clip from his big reveal video. He has like a whole monologue.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Anything that they're told to consume.
Like, bro, you're making this big reveal and you've got the worst audio I've ever heard. Why does it sound like
there's ASMR audio?
Why does it sound like there's a box fan right by the camera mic?
So I am the villain. Because I've made myself one. And you will continue to consume these stories about me year after year after year, for as long as I tell the internet that I am the villain. Stories that permeate and linger and infect the minds of the ants, influence the ants, brainwash the ants.
There's some Gomer Pyle energy going.
Are the ants. Today I woke up from a very long dream. And I also woke up having lost 250 pounds off of my body. Yet just yesterday, people were calling me fat and sick and boring and irrelevant. People are the most messed up creatures on the entire planet. And yet I've still managed to stay two steps ahead.
This is the best part. He just does the Kubrick stare at the end.
7.62 millimeter full metal jacket.
So, he was the evil mastermind.
What? Okay.
The whole time.
Can we just ask the question, what was the experiment?
That's a really good question.
Like, just because you deliver the line in a quasi-creepy way doesn't mean you did an experiment. Show me the research, my friend. I want to see
People
the
are
data.
like, so tell me how you posting a picture of your inflamed butthole was part of the master plan here.
Yes.
how you starting a gay OnlyFans was like actually part of your performance art, bro.
There's a picture, a before and after picture, if people are looking for.
Yeah, he was, you know, quite large. People were worried that he was cutting his life short because he dedicated himself so fully to his mukbang lifestyle.
You know what we
that
need,
he was, you know, on death's door.
I have a way that we can do this in an actually like beneficial manner for society. We need to do this going the other way with Eugenia Cooney, where she needs to gain the weight and get healthy. And
oh my goodness.
And she needs to do her own social experiment that gets her into good shape because she is deathly skinny and it's terrifying. That's what we need.
We've talked about her before. She is also interesting. I think that she's just as self-aware as Nikocado. She's just better at pretending like she's not.
Yeah.
It's kind of an evil mastermind in her own right.
Well, that's the thing. Like, just because, and here's the thing, just because you're an evil mastermind doesn't mean you have a great delivery. I don't think that the evil speech was all that well delivered.
Cast Nikocado as the Riddler. Get rid of the other guy. He has star power.
Do you think he had to have the skin like cut?
I don't know. He has fluctuated in weight quite a lot. What's funny is I first came across Nikocado when he was a vegan YouTuber. He was a vegan influencer.
I didn't know that.
He made all of these videos about veganism, and it was this huge dramatic moment in the, you know, vegan YouTube community back when that was a thing, when he ditched veganism for his health, he said. And then eventually over time, you know, he became a morbidly obese mukbanger, and people were like, it doesn't seem like it was really about your health. Yeah. It was about your clout.
Wait, and what did they say? They said
you were never a real vegan.
That is some creepy shit. When you told me that. I said even religious people don't say that.
Every time that I say I was I formerly was vegan, especially if it's on Twitter where people name search vegan, and all of these vegans just flood me with comments saying you were never a real vegan because you never really believed it in your heart. It wasn't a religion for you, therefore you were never part of the club.
Do people say this when somebody becomes a lapsed Catholic?
No, in fact, what they say in those cases is that you're still Catholic. Yeah. Because it's an indelible mark on your soul. Yeah. But for them, if you weren't a true believer, you would, if you were a true believer, you would have never left, right? That's their
So
belief.
This would be more like something that would happen in a cult. Like if you left a cult and they were like, you were never a true believer.
But he just moved from like one form of crazy to the next, and he's always 2 steps ahead. This is his mantra. So there was another part of this video where he was, back at his old weight, talking about the social experiment that he was performing. Mm-hmm. I wanted to watch that.
Wait, do we have? Maybe I'm missing that one. Maybe resend that one to me. Is it in the same one?
It's the last thing in our messages.
Okay, hold on 1 second, guys. I gotta double check.
He's always 2 steps ahead.
Okay, yeah, I don't have this one. Hold on 1 second here. Let's put this one. I like this comment. It says, it's so funny that people are calling this a redemption arc as if he got fat from killing kids or something.
Hey, you don't know.
I don't think that's what happened. Here we go.
Ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. This has been...
Well, it's got the Dracula hair.
Mm-hmm. The greatest social experiment I've come to know. Certainly the greatest social experiment my entire life. It's alluring. It's compelling. It's gripping to bear witness, to observe all these unwell, unbalanced, disoriented beings roam the internet in search of stories, in search of ideas, of conflict, of rivalries, where people develop a distinctive desire for direct engagement, where people feel involved with the stories and therefore become product of influence, spoiling their minds while stimulating them at the exact same time. It's brilliant, but it's also dangerous. I feel as if my life has been positioned to where I'm monitoring ants. One follows another, follows another, follows another. It's mesmerizing. Just look at all these consumers, all of these lost and bored people.
should have somebody write his evil villain speeches.
Consuming anything that they're told to consume. I am the villain. I make myself one. Today, I thought it would be a splendid idea to go out and get some food. Gee, are you surprised? Have you forgotten the story? Are you not paying attention? After all, you're here to consume. Are you not?
Like, I can't help but stan. I can't help but stan.
In the chat, Crocs with socks says this guy is a psychopath. What I think you're what I think you're actually looking at here is the mindset of somebody who is outside the realm of consuming content and into the realm of creating content, and putting the most absurd, over-the-top spin on what it's like to direct your audience towards a certain direction.
Well, no, what he's trying to do, I don't know if he's doing it successfully, but what he's trying to do is put up a mirror to his audience, because he's consuming food, but they're consuming him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They're like gorging themselves on content, and he is gorging himself on ramen. So it's kind of I actually do think he's getting at an interesting dynamic, talking about audience capture. And he is. I mean, he's obviously very smart.
There is an argument or a discussion to be had about audience capture.
Yes.
It's like you find that one thing that works, and then you have to stick with it lest your audience fall off. It's actually something that, like, one of the things that we have for our channel is, like, we cover such a weird array of things. Like, we don't specialize in any one area.
Yeah.
It's like the channel isn't all videos about Disney. It's not all video. Like, we cover everything from Disney and movies. We cover Taylor Swift and Chappell Groan. We talk about dating. We talk about social media trends, all that stuff. And that can hurt because it's harder to grow a dedicated audience when you don't have that
There's
niche,
not as much of a niche.
right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to avoid audience capture there. I have no desire. Like, there have been times where, like, we should cover this and nobody cares. And I kind of like that because it means I can talk about whatever we find interesting that given day, and the people that watch this show will tune in, hopefully get something out of it, at the very least be entertained for a couple of hours. But I don't feel like we have to cover it. Like, today we were like, should we cover the new stuff with Diddy? We're like, does anybody care?
Right.
Like, does anybody care?
Like,
I don't care. Like, we covered it through the Cassie stuff. Do we want to go into it? Like, I'm not chasing numbers for any specific topic.
I will not say who, because I'm sure this has happened multiple times, but we've watched other channels, and the channels that tend to cover very specific niche topics in a very specific wheelhouse, and the way they report on things, the way they talk about things, it's a little bit clownish sometimes.
Over the top.
Like, it's over the top. It's a little ridiculous.
Well,
and it's like the bravado that they bring to it, you can tell, is inauthentic and is meant to engagement bait and rage bait people. And, that's a form of audience capture too. So it's like, you can act like you're better than Nikocado Avocado, but, at the end of the day, anyone is liable to get into the mode of performing the way they feel they're expected to, and like that is kind of demeaning.
I don't actually have that ability. I can get excited about specific things, right? But I can't fake that with things that I don't care about. Mm-hmm. Like I can't do that. Like when we talked about The Crow, and I had a lot to say about The Crow. I can't bring that same energy to freaking Beetlejuice.
You can't faux outrage.
Because I don't care.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing. It depends on what you're going for. Yep. Here are a couple of reactions. One said, he pre-recorded years worth of videos while secretly losing all of his weight as a social experiment, raking in a bunch of attention and money. Not gonna lie, he's kind of a genius. This was his Machiavellian scheme to get views and money. Yeah. And then, just as people were getting tired of his old form of content, he did his big reveal where he could turn it all around and people would get interested again.
And that is one of the hardest things to do, is when you found something that works, is pivoting and doing something else. That is not to be understated how difficult that is.
Like, I wouldn't be willing to get morbidly obese for content, but in a way, I sort of have to respect the grind, the commitment to the bit that he has shown.
Well, no, like everything that he's talking about here requires a lot of commitment, right? Like committing to doing this over a period of time.
And self-discipline.
And the self-discipline to actually make a physical
Ironically.
change. Hold off, not just that, but hold off on making any posts that show any of the progress that you've made, which I'm sure was tempting to do from time to time. He's a creator.
It's the sociopathy that we have been talking about, the sociopathy that you either need to be born with or you need to develop in order to be a successful influencer, because he posted years worth of pre-recorded content where he is acting like a morbidly obese clown for likes, putting on an act, and he had to be totally okay or neutral about the fact that people were mocking him endlessly for it.
Yeah.
And he had to be okay with people not knowing the truth and people not knowing that this was all a social experiment and that he was actually planning to show his weight loss. Like, he had to be at peace with the fact that he was a lol cow.
It's one of
Most people would not be able to do it.
It's one of those things where, like, when you start making a change, you get like, you want to talk about it because it gets you pumped up.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to not do that. It's like they say, if you want to do something, don't tell anyone about it, because even the act of telling somebody about something you want to do, it kind of satiates your brain.
Saps your motivation.
And prevents you from actually working on it. So the best thing you can do is to keep it to yourself and just work on it.
So this is what Lizzo is doing.
Yeah. I mean, not really, because she made the post about it.
Well, once she's on her hiatus,
she made a post about taking a year off. Imagine if she had taken the year off and then just came back.
That would be better, yeah. Another one said, Nikocado avocado was never spiritually fat. He's a classically trained violinist. He understands discipline and was never out of control. It's been a fairly obvious Kaufman-esque performance art since the beginning.
Andy Kaufman would be very proud.
I want to see...
So Jim Carrey can make this movie.
I want to see Nikocado and
Jim
Ben
Carrey.
Shapiro have a violin off. I think that would be incredibly entertaining.
They can do that. Devil Went Down to Georgia.
And whoever loses has to gain 250 pounds.
I don't know how I feel about Fat Ben Shapiro. I feel like the memes would get created. It's like Fat Ben Shapiro isn't real. Fat Ben Shapiro can't hurt you.
That would be crazy. Yeah. I want to see AI generated obese Ben Shapiro.
All right, let's go to Super Chats. We'll hang out, guys. We got till 5 today, and hopefully, everything goes smooth.
Yeah, we wanted some extra time to just chill.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said Steve went from Blue's Clues to a failed indie rock career to a walking HR complaint disguised as online affirmation.
Wait, did he do music?
Yeah, I mean, that was his rebound, I guess, after...
I figured after however many years of Blue's Clues, you just retire and go off into the sunset.
Might not be as good money as you think, though.
I saw something the other day that said, again, I could be completely misremembering it. My brain is in fact cooked, but
that's fine.
It was like Tom from MySpace said that he was set to do a music video with Mac Miller the day he died.
What?
Yeah.
Seriously? Did he say that recently?
It was in let me see if I can find it.
That's crazy. Because he's not like
what? It's like those memes where it's like so and so has no song that this needs to happen.
Weird. I wonder what Tom from MySpace is doing right now. Because everyone just hears from him like one time every few years. He doesn't need to work. So I don't know what he does for a living anymore, if anything.
He was he got into travel photography.
Yeah, but then he stopped posting about that. So what is he doing?
Former MySpace president Tom Anderson. My gosh, look at that photo. The hat. It's just the most. 2008 literally just drop kicked you in the face. Tom Anderson has shared a never before seen DM from Mac Miller just days before he died. Now, if MySpace was before your time, Anderson was kind of a big deal back in the day. It says, let's go down here. It says, I never shared this with anyone before. Mac Miller asked me to be in a video to be filmed September 7th, the day he died.
That's crazy. Weird.
Yep. Creepy.
Didn't the...
Like, what brought about that conversation?
Yeah,
what was the music video going to be about?
And why? And I want to know what the concept was and why he was invited to be in it. Like, what was the whole idea?
I don't know.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll never know.
That'll remain a mystery. Didn't they, They convicted the dealer, right?
Yes, yeah. They got several years. It says, we are shooting a video on September 5th through the 8th. If you made a cameo, it would be amazing. He says, haha, what's the concept? I like that he started with haha dash.
Do we know?
He says, I'm just teleporting to a bunch of different locations and different people are in each one. So it's like maybe it's going to be a bunch of cameos of different people. Different
Teleporting
people.
maybe to different, like, years.
Dunno.
If he teleported to 2008. Okay. Shane H. Wilder said Taylor Swift endorses Kamala. Who saw that coming?
I don't
Not
think
me.
anybody was actually surprised by that.
No. But I would have been pleasantly surprised if she just shut her mouth. The Rumbling said, welcome back. Horror festival or horror festival?
It was the second one. She wasn't going to a horror festival.
The 304.
And my guess is it wasn't the other one either. It was probably some, music event.
It's just as long as it's not Burning Man, Suringo Productions said, I hate that this Taylor Swift strategy will work.
It will work. It will work.
Yeah, as much as the right will deny it, she is imminently relatable to the female voters.
I mean, then again, we shouldn't get too in the weeds about this. Then the question is, how do they frame it after 4 years if nothing changes as far as like federalized abortion rights?
Well, don't say never. I mean,
well, I'm saying if it doesn't happen,
if you pack the court,
Yep.
I think anything is possible. So, yeah.
So in the chat, Dreaminology, it's a great name. Her fans are underage. No, they're not. No. The underage fans are listening to Chappell Groan.
And Olivia Rodrigo.
Her fans are firmly your middle management laptop job class.
I mean, they're basically zillennials. Yeah. Potatoes for Seamus said Taylor Grift for president. I haven't heard Taylor Grift before. Interesting. Pop culture junkie.
Did we miss this 20?
I think we did. I'm sorry for missing this one.
We apologize, my friend.
Didn't see that. Here's an interesting twist. The Swifties could help swing the election, but be a sheath factor. In psychographics, they are the least likely to participate in phone-based polls.
Her fans are? I would imagine that men are the least likely to participate in phone-based polls. I guess if it's the discussion about getting actually
because men actually work for a living.
Well, no, it's like, or is it like, are they saying like because they're not answering the phone, like they're just physically not picking up?
Oh, because Gen Z is afraid of answering the phone.
How can any poll be accurate when Gen Z is like, uh-oh, that could be the pizza guy looking to deliver my pizza. I'm not answering that.
But you can't listen to the millennials either because the millennials are like, oh, they're calling about my student debt.
Yeah.
Have to let that one go. Let it ring.
I like the memes that are like, didn't know the number, literally went and looked it up on Google before.
Yeah. I do enjoy answering scam calls, though. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
She does it right here at work. She just sits there and talks shit to them.
Yep. Because, is the longer you lead on the scammer, the less time they have to go scam an old person after you hang up.
Was it you that I was saying, like,
someone.
I talked to someone recently who got their car fixed because they actually had an extended warranty?
I thought that was you.
No, it wasn't me. It didn't happen in my car. A friend of mine actually got his car fixed because he actually did buy the extended warranty. I don't think he bought it from somebody on the phone.
No. The Gym said, surprise, surprise, Kirkland brand pop star has Kirkland brand garbage opinions. Sigh, being famous doesn't make you smarter than average folks. I mean, I wouldn't call her Kirkland brand pop star. I mean, she's like literally the quintessential pop star. She's a pop star among pop stars. She's a celebrity among celebrities.
Yep.
Maybe the biggest to ever do it. Is that crazy of me to say?
I think that there's
maybe second only to Michael Jackson, who had the advantage of living in the pre-social media age.
Yeah, I think that you'd get a lot of pushback on the biggest to ever do it.
Like, who else, though?
I mean, Michael Jackson is up there. The Beatles are up there.
But imagine if they had existed in the social media age, though. It's so much more impressive that she's able to do it in this time of like oversaturation. And
I think that would be true if she was an independent artist that did it on her own, but she still came being born of the same machine that all of them did. Like
the Big Machine Records LLC.
Literally, yeah. Like she still came with all of the advantages that come from putting their records out and them doing the the road work, all the press, all of the ads.
Well, yeah,
and
she's
everything.
super manufactured, but like, I don't know. I'm not saying there's a lack of talent, but are we going to say like the Beatles and Michael Jackson didn't have huge industry backing?
No, that's not what they're saying. They're saying that back then it was probably different, that however many Taylor Swift fans there are now, the culture was more uniform back then. So there probably was even more because there was less choices.
That's true. Yeah.
So, what do you think? What do you think, guys? Michael, I still believe I would probably say Michael Jackson.
Justin Bieber was on a track to get there, but he dropped off the face of the planet in terms of relevance.
So, what do you guys think? Michael Jackson, Elvis, the Beatles. Those are the names that immediately come to mind for me.
What was Justin Bieber's 2015 album?
You're asking the wrong guy.
The one that had "What Do You Mean" on it. Whatever that was. After that came out, he just kind of like stopped being relevant. What happened? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, all pop music is kind of made for women, right? Like that's your target demographic. You don't make pop music for men. Men can like it, I guess. But whether it's a female pop star or a male pop star, the music is designed to appeal to preteen and teen women, and then they grow with it. It's easier for a woman to grow with Taylor Swift, who they identify with, especially in the age of representation. And oh my God, they're just like me, right? Whereas they move away from someone like Justin Bieber, maybe.
Justin aged out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, he went more into like R&B and hip hop. Like he moved away from the type of music that would have meant something to that audience. The ones that would have made him that famous, would have continued to grow his fame.
Mm-hmm. Shane H. Wilder said the Baja Blast gelato was $4 for essentially a scoop of ice cream mixed with Baja Blast. I don't even like Baja Blast. I suffer so you don't have to.
I love
it. Sounded nice in theory, but yeah, if it's just ice cream mixed with syrup, that's kind of gross.
Omega Red Fan says pop music can be about men. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the target demo of the audience is women.
Probably true.
Like, think of who, I don't even know who you would say in the last 10 years. So you'd say Taylor Swift, One Direction at one point. Like all of these, their target demographic
Shawn Mendes
is women. Preteen women.
Right. Not necessarily preteen. I mean, like, yeah.
Teenagers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But Taylor Swift, for some reason, has been able to capture more Gen Z, even though her fan base used to be primarily millennial.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I mean, I still think the majority of her audience is millennial.
Well, yes, but she like rose to fame on millennial fan base and then somehow was able to regain relevance with Gen Zers who didn't
feel like
like
it just
her as
came
much.
out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be studied. New Guy Don't Haze Me said, I don't know how old you two are, but do you recall where you were on 9/11? I'm thinking Brett was old enough, but Mary might have been too young.
Do you remember?
No.
I do remember. I was in 9th grade homeroom.
I was in a diaper because I was a baby.
I do remember. We were going to talk about it today. It is definitely a hot button issue, given that today is obviously the anniversary. It's interesting because I've watched a lot of TV shows that did 9/11 storylines when they were in their earlier seasons. Related to people, like especially shows that were done in New York. One of the things of art that came out of that time period was like shows like Third Watch, which was a New York City show about cops, firefighters, and EMTs in New York City. Started in 1999 and ran till like 2005. So they were there before 9/11, and then when it happened, they didn't even do an episode about it initially. They did a live episode, which was interviews with first responders, and then tied that into a storyline afterwards where they all experience it, but from a distance because they weren't in the area when it happened. And then a lot of that next season had to do with, the fallout of working in New York City and being, on the pile, people who worked on site, obviously without going there, and how it impacted their lives. And they don't do those storylines as much anymore. It's kind of lost the ability to
But
hit people
what
in
would
the
it
same
be?
in the same meaningful way. Well, like Blue Bloods did episodes with people who got sick because of, like people who had struggled with healthcare because of getting sick while working
Yeah.
during 9/11 and stuff like that. So
From like inhaling the fumes.
yeah.
Mhm.
I do enjoy how a lot of those storytellers told those, because it was done at a time where there was a more cohesive feel to this country. And the storyline, whatever you believe, was very much still pro-America.
Even if it was based on lies.
Whatever it may be, right? It's like there was still a sense of unity around the populace at that time that's very, very hard to even believe was possible nowadays.
Yeah. Pop Culture Junkie said, please see previous unread $20 super chat. Sorry you missed that.
Sorry
as
about
well.
that, man. I really apologize. That's our bad.
As we said, we are having mental difficulties today. Surinko Productions said, make Melania first lady again. MMTFLOTUS.
Okay.
I
We'll
agree.
do that. We'll work on that.
I agree. I feel strongly about Melania. She's a sweet woman. Surinko said, Nikocado is a skinny legend like Lizzo. Let's go!
I think like one of the early examples that I had where I realized that it was impossible to really make people see if they don't agree with you politically, like you can't even like walk them to like the right answer, because what somebody would say to me is like, Donald Trump is so like, they're like, have you heard his stance on immigration? His wife's an immigrant. I'm like, if you don't understand the difference between somebody who came here legally and somebody
and
who
the
didn't,
Haitian migrant
this
who's
is
like strangling your cat.
this is years ago. So this is more when
But yes,
they
like,
were
same
talking
point.
southern border. I'm like, if you don't understand the difference between those two, I can't help you. And I literally don't have the time to help you because you don't want to be helped.
But it looks willful. I'm not sure.
It wasn't. See, the thing is, like, what it is like, if you exist in this space and your views are consistently challenged by the mainstream, you have to reevaluate and hold your own views, introspectively, and reevaluate what they mean to you and what it all means, and weigh them against what everybody else is saying. If what you're saying is consistently parroted back to you by authoritative news sources
And Taylor Swift.
you don't really have to challenge your viewpoints or think beyond first order thinking. Like, you don't have to think beyond
It's like when they were calling Trump Drumpf,
Drumfler.
like as some kind of gotcha.
Yeah.
Like, you had a Germanic name when your family immigrated here generations upon generations ago, and it was anglicized to assimilate to the native population that you moved into. And for some reason, that is an own?
Yeah.
Like, what? The fact that was ever a buzzword that they used back in, 2016 is just so funny to me.
I'm actually what I'm gonna do is
What?
Lillian.
I'll just continue reading super chats. JTR11 said, "Are we sure he didn't start eating people?" I don't think so. Not gonna make any accusations against Nikocado. He's a vengeful individual.
In the chat, guys, what I'm doing is I'm putting a link to Lillian Garcia did the first national anthem after 9/11. The very first event that happened was a WWE event, and she did the first national anthem live televised afterwards.
Okay, don't watch it right now.
Don't watch it right now, but I encourage everyone to go and check this out later. I don't know if we could play it maybe and see if it
We would definitely get
copyrighted.
copyright
I mean,
for that.
it's from the WWE network, but I do encourage everyone to go and watch that after the show today. It was quite moving.
Thank goodness Fergie wasn't the one.
Yes,
Doing it.
the 110%.
Pat the Plumber said, "Who is this clown?" I'm surprised that you aren't familiar with Nikocado, but maybe I'm just too online. That's just calling myself out.
Well, I mean, like, if we know who Nikocado Avocado is and Eugenia Cooney is, it's because
It's over. We're cooked.
I mean, it's got like
We're
can't.
just as cooked as his ramen.
It's our job to know.
Yeah.
Like I imagine there will be a day where I'm working, at a gas station again, and I'm like, Nikocado, who? I don't know who. Like I don't know who the next whoever the next Nikocado Avocado will be. I will not know.
I can tell myself that it's because of our job, but I know for a fact that I would still be this, like, I would still be informed on internet history like that and memes if it weren't for this job. Like, it's a genuine interest for me. So maybe that's why I showed up here in the first place. Serenco Productions said this guy definitely unalived someone and ate them. Okay, why are you accusing him of cannibalism? Where is this coming from? Is there actual proof?
Shane H. Wilder says, you showed it last year, Brett. You got copyrighted. Okay, we can't show
it. You did?
Apparently.
I don't even remember that.
Apparently.
Shane H. Wilder said, did he just become Temu brand Heath Ledger Joker?
I mean,
I thought it was more Rizzler vibes.
I thought it was more, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio, Gomer Pyle vibes. So, you know.
He all he needs is an acting coach. He just needs to work on the delivery a little bit, and he's movie star material. Pat the Plumber said, okay, I don't know what podcast I'm watching anymore. What do you mean?
Well, you're watching this podcast.
Are you
That's
confused?
the point. Maybe it's because there hasn't been a second Crisis Party. Maybe if there was a second Crisis Party, he would know what he was watching.
Like, for instance, I don't care about this segment, but I stick around because Brett's my hero. That's nice.
Keep that energy. I always knew I liked this guy.
More Brett hero worship.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Shane H. Wilder said, once a Catholic, always a Catholic. So, Brett, technically, if you've received confirmation, you are still Catholic, just not in full communion.
Somebody got very mad in the comments about our Shia LaBeouf segment where I made a passing joke about him not acting very Catholic, and somebody got very upset at that joke that I
didn't see that.
Well, no, it was when it was on an episode.
The comment, I mean,
they were not happy, like saying I shouldn't talk about it because I'm an agnostic, that I shouldn't talk about it.
Well, if you were being serious,
I was not being serious.
I would think that, but I didn't think that you were being serious.
It's kind of like the meme. It's everything I say is a joke unless you agree with me.
Dude, starting fights outside of bars is very Catholic. What are they talking about?
The point being that I was obviously not trying to make any type of actual dig. I was making a passing joke.
In fact,
around here,
starting a fight in a bar is very Catholic, which is why I did it.
We appreciate jokes around here.
That was self-defense. Self-defense is Catholic. Yeah. Are you confirmed though? I thought I remembered you saying you weren't confirmed.
I got first communion, not confirmation.
But I thought that if you were baptized Catholic, that you were Catholic. So maybe I'm the one who's misinformed here. Shane H. Wilder said Steve Burns put out an album called Songs for Dust Mites that was like Temu brand Flaming Lips. Have you ever gotten anything off Temu?
No. I downloaded the app at one point and I could just feel the spyware going on my phone. In the chat, the Gnostic Alien says, agnostics can't talk about Catholicism, SMH. So does that mean like I can't talk about baseball because I don't play baseball anymore, or I can't, like, I don't know.
But is that also a joke? I can't tell anymore.
I can't tell. Like the thing, like we talk about a lot of stuff on here. We talked about Taylor Swift. I'm not a pop star. Should I not be talking about that? Right?
Another thing I hate when people say is, you know, if you dislike a show or a movie or whatever, or you dislike a podcast, they're like, go watch something else then. Because you don't have the right to criticize something. You should, like, their insistence is like, you just shouldn't watch it. So you don't need to say anything negative because you just shouldn't watch it.
The funny thing is that's a ridiculous sentiment, but that's actually how I am outside of work when we have to do it. Like, I try different shows all the time, and most of the time they just bore me and I turn them off.
But you don't say.
But I don't go online and tweet a bunch about how I don't like them.
But if you actively disliked something that you watched and you wanted to like express an opinion about it,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Then the person who's like the stan of whatever that show is going to say like, stop watching it then, go watch something else.
It's a weird sense. Like, I get the instinct for that. Before the Twitter I have now, I'm the rare person who deleted his Twitter but had nothing that needed to be deleted. It was literally all like, this movie's awesome. I love this show. Like, that was
being normal.
Yes. But now it's like you can't even have that type of opinion because people will tell you that you're hate baiting. They love that term, hate baiting.
It sure is nice that you get to have an @ on on Twitter and Instagram, it's just your name.
You're like,
I wish I could do that.
was yours just taken?
Yeah, apparently Mary is still the most common female name in the U.S. Maybe I should fact check that, and it's not true anymore.
Did you try your last name first and your first name?
What is the most common? Because I think the generation of Marys is dying out. Most common female name in the U.S. is still Mary, according to 2023 data. Wow. That's not going to last long. There's no way. Because that's got to be like the greatest generation, the boomers who are keeping that up. I wonder what the male name is.
Is it John? Mike?
It looks like it's actually James.
Okay. You know what it is? They're like, we can't name him Chad. We can't name him John. We can't name him Mike. James is a good middle ground.
That's fine. Okay. JTR said, I am Gen Z. I am not afraid to answer the phone. I am enraged. Well, it's not about you then. It's just, you know, Gen Z is notoriously socially anxious. And I used to be.
Did you? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
When did that change? Like I always imagined like you literally like went to school and you were just this way from the moment you were socialized.
I had a lot of growing up to do. I used to have really bad anxiety. I grew out of it. I don't know how else to explain it.
I mean, it's usually just repeat exposure to anxious situations.
I guess. But, you know, there's no other way out but through. Like, I did have, like, anxiety around social situations, but also just, like, life in general. Like, I did have panic attacks and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, you know, you just kind of... I don't know why. I don't know why it went away, but it did, and that's great. Yeah. Like, I'm grateful for that because some people just live anxious their entire lives. I
don't have panic attacks, but I'm probably more neurotic than most people.
That's I think that's different because that's like interior, you know.
I'm a worst like I'm the person who assumes that everything that's going to happen is going to be the worst possible outcome at all times. So usually I'm pleasantly surprised almost every time, right?
Well, the weird thing about the anxiety I'm talking about is the physiological aspect, because you will be physically panicking and having no idea why, because you like feel like you're in a life or death situation physically, but inside your brain you're like, what's going on? Everything is fine right now. Like I have nothing to be afraid of.
I don't have that kind of disconnect. Mine's
That's
very
what
specific.
I had going on.
Okay.
Which is
that would
weirder.
be way more terrifying to me. Like mine is very specific and just requires that you take the time to break down what's bothering you into manageable pieces to then hopefully figure out
That's
the
about
problem.
your thought process more
Yes.
so.
Yeah. I think that's part of just being more introverted in general, is that you kind of live in your own head.
I also used to think I was an introvert, and I'm definitely not.
No.
So I'm glad I realized that.
It's I mean it's I also don't know if the introvert doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad with people.
No. Because you're not.
Yeah.
You're surprisingly normal.
It's more like you just you don't relish those situations the way it is the type of thing where it's like people say it's like, oh, you say you don't want to go out and then you do and you just don't regret it afterwards. That's how it always is. That's how it always was for me. Like people would be like, do you want to go out? I'm like, not really. But then you do it and you're like, oh, I should do that more. But then the next time rolls around and the same thing happens in your head.
Yeah, I never got that.
Yeah.
I never got that. I don't think so.
That's a lot different for me now. I've worked past a lot of that. My life is a lot more structured and easygoing in that respect, meaning like I don't mind doing all that stuff because I'm just living a healthier life than I was back then.
We're gonna like rebrand as a mental health averenness podcast.
Everybody,
How about that?
everyone
would instantly unfollow.
would leave.
You're like, wait, you're not promoting mental illness anymore? Bye.
Where's the brain rot?
Where's the brain rot?
Did you see the one of Toad singing about edging?
No.
Toad.
Are you gonna pull it up?
I wonder if I can find it. Toad singing about edging and gooning.
Great. Okay. Moving along. Shane H. Wilder said, speaking of MySpace, I was at Half Price Books and found a sealed copy of MySpace Records Volume 1. I bought it for the lulz. Who knew this existed? Wait, but what is the MySpace Records?
So yeah, MySpace was like its own record label for a while, right?
Okay, so it had like actual records in.
I wonder which artists were there on there. Also, guys, my new favorite person is this guy. It's IDGAF. I don't give a fuck foods on Instagram, and it's just videos where he eats unhealthy things and calls you a pussy if you won't.
I love that
because he's like
him and Alex Clark need to have a debate right now.
He's like people tell me I shouldn't eat this hot dog from 7-Eleven. Bro, I used to smoke meth out of a light bulb.
Thank you. I love that timing.
He's like, you think I'm worried about this?
That crisis party time was immaculate.
That was not me. I never smoked meth out of a light bulb.
Yes, just so no one clips it.
Just so no one's yeah.
I did try 7-Eleven sushi once.
That's dangerous.
Is it? I mean, I live.
I mean, I don't eat sushi.
I live,
at all,
bitch.
Put a girl on. Hold on. I will play this here. You'll
the toad video.
You'll laugh. I promise. Or at least I think you'll laugh. Actually,
everybody
will just be like, "You're unhinged and you should not."
Like you shouldn't find this funny.
Yep.
Okay.
On.
Here we
Listen
go.
to Gooning and I'm 3 ages behind. All my friends, they call me Sigma, but I'm on my viewing grind. But it doesn't really seem with me quite right, cause they don't wanna play OG Fortnite. And I keep accidentally edging myself in my room in the middle of the night. I wake up and I'm Gooning and I wake up to my edge. And I wake up and I'm mewing, but I'll be Sigma when I'm old. See, I don't like breaking streaks, but I can't control my edge. So I just joke around and keep my head down and hope.
Yes.
I'm 2 days into.
No.
Yeah.
Just.
Like, and it's like, why is your brain rotting? Why don't you have any attention span anymore? Also me.
If it were AI Kanye, I would have laughed. But.
I love that. I love all of these videos that are made out. That and all of the AI alien videos are my favorites.
I haven't been scrolling reels because I don't know. I don't get as many cat videos as I used to.
Well, I mean, that's you gotta start
building. They always say I built this for you page brick by brick.
Yeah, you got to start hitting not interested on stuff.
I hate that. It takes too much work.
It actually does take work to do.
Yeah. Pat the plumber said Chappell Groan pepperoni.
In the chat, somebody said irate samurai says literally me. Yes, if Toad is literally you, it's a problem.
You got problems.
You got problems.
Seek help. Pop Culture Junkie said the peak of the Swifties demographic slice are the least likely to answer a phone and participate. Oversampling can help, but it's expensive. Okay, so the peak of her demographic slice would be what? Like people in their early 20s? I don't know. Corey Anderson said, Mary, don't leave us again. Brett tried to replace you with Kellen. It's totally unacceptable and an equal substitute. Hashtag put a Mary on.
Look, there was 4 people on that panel that day. There was 4 people here.
So that means for every one Mary
takes 3 people.
Takes 3 people to match my freak.
Absolutely, that's what it was. It was like depending on what your opinion is, we'll get at least one person with that opinion. So whether it's Kellen,
it's representing
Serge, or Sarah, somebody had to find a way to match your freak.
That's great. I used that phrase in the totally wrong way.
That's okay.
Shane H. Wilder said you showed it last year, Brett. You got copyrighted.
Yeah, that was about the national anthem.
Sorenko Productions said it was Buffalo Bill vibes, hence the people eating. Oh, people eating, not people eating. I don't know. Nikocado doesn't really look like a cannibal to me, if I had to judge a book by its cover.
Maybe he can play Hannibal Lecter next.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter.
They'll think you're the late, great Hannibal Lecter, because you did a social experiment. JTR11 said everyone is Catholic, most just don't accept it yet. I wouldn't say that, but Corey Anderson said, I'm Protestant. I've always spoken well of Catholics. Am I not supposed to because I am not Catholic? Okay, don't take any of that seriously.
He was kidding in the chat, by the way, but the person who left a comment on the video, on the old live stream, definitely wasn't
I think
kidding.
what they might have been angry about is the fact that a lot of non-Christians who dislike Christians say things to police the tone and language and behavior of Christians when they feel it's appropriate. You know, they make demands of you about what is Christian when they themselves believe that your religion is a sham, so they're just using it to police people, right?
Well, anybody who's watched the show knows that I couldn't possibly care enough about any of this to like do that to a person, like to try and police their behavior. You do you are words to live by for me.
It was just you getting
Leave me out of it.
misinterpreted a little here. Okay, Shane H. Wilder said, baptism does also make you Catholic. You are right, Mary. Also, Catholics love fighting. Just ask St. Nicholas. I keep saying this. I've been saying it.
I am looking forward to Red One this year. I am.
Really?
I am. Unashamedly.
Bro.
That in the Killer's game.
Why?
I am.
Why?
I am.
They're
I don't care. I don't care how
CGI snowmen.
The absolute slop
What is
of it
wrong
all.
with you?
Look, I would rather be excited for that than some art house movie. You will never see me excited about an A24 movie. You'll never see me excited about a Blumhouse movie. But I will absolutely get excited about CGI slop.
It's so bad. The snowman part really is what got me, though. Like that part, I was just like checked out.
Some of the jokes were so bad too, and I was just like, yeah.
It was like the
naughty list.
Yeah, they hit the snowman and like the head comes off and then he grabs it and puts it back on and then they like pan to Chris Evans and he's like, so that just happened. It's just shit like that.
And like he does the thing where he
can't.
says you're on the naughty list, and then they just have Chris Evans like repeat the line, the naughty list.
Yeah, it's
Look,
so bad.
What was the one we liked? Violent Night, right? We liked Violent Night.
That was okay. It was less. There was no CGI, right? There was no CGI in that one.
I mean, were there reindeer? There was probably CGI reindeer.
Okay.
But they weren't in it very much.
With the exception of that part, like it was. I thought that one was actually written pretty well.
It's so funny because David Arbor is a great example of somebody who is a good enough actor where, like, a lot of times when actors have shitty political opinions or are annoying, I just don't remember. I vaguely remember them saying something stupid. But David Arbor is one of those ones who I very specifically know is a douche.
Yeah.
But is such a good actor, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Shane H. Wilder said, I've only known 3 Mary, one of them being you. I'm surprised by that. If you're Catholic, you're going to meet more Marys than most. Every time that I meet a Mary in public, they happen to be elderly. So that's why I was making an assumption.
Meeting a Helen or a Muriel.
Yeah, Mildred, a Gertrude, perhaps.
I mean, those are just, they're names that don't have
Shirley.
the right, Shirley's not bad, but Mildred and Gertrude have a certain tone to them that's just, the t and the ger just don't work.
Yeah, there's something aggressive.
I'd call her what do you call
I want to name some of my daughters some stereotypically old lady names, which I won't share.
Okay.
Because I don't want people to steal my ideas. JTR said, introverts are the suppliers of social energy to the vampire extroverts who drain it from us. Wow. That's not very charitable to extroverts.
I like the meme that says like all introverts had that one extroverted friend who just found them and adopted them and made them theirs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's like you're part of our friend group now.
I think that's a great practice.
Gladys?
I think you can be outgoing and an introvert, and I think you can be shy and an extrovert
also,
as well.
It's best to not put labels on this. Otherwise, you're going to end up with all the people who are like, I'm asocial.
Don't make it into like
I'm an ambivert, which basically means like sometimes I'm social and sometimes I'm not.
Yeah, it's like, okay, good, you're a person.
It's the medicalization of these terms to like try to make us all feel special.
No, it's not that. It's like I can say that I'm an introvert to excuse the fact that I like was an asshole just now. Yeah. You know?
Oh, that's the worst.
Like
right?
that sucks.
Or it's the idea that people are like, like I'm like really quiet unless I really get to know someone. I'm like, so you're a normal person?
What's sinister about a lot of extroverts, actually, and people don't talk about this, is that they make everyone feel like they're special. Right?
So it's like a weird form of gaslighting.
They make me feel uncomfortable sometimes because they act like you're my new best friend, and I'm like, we don't know each other like that. Like, don't be overly familiar. I think that's one of my biggest pet peeves is like people acting overly familiar with shit. Like
even if there's no ill intention behind it.
like if you're making jokes at my expense and like we just met, like you don't know me like that. Like stop doing that.
Yeah, look, I think a lot of people have fallen into that before, not out of
Not malice, yeah.
but it just happens.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be.
High Voltage 75 said apparently the most common name for newborns is Olivia. I'm a little surprised it isn't Taylor. Well, it might be soon.
Taylor is a unisex name.
But that's more interesting because I was like reading up on trends in baby names and they're getting weirder because people are imitating celebrities.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Most common newborn name male.
I love this one.
What is it?
Cyberchud 2077 says ambivert is the equivalent of demisexual. Yes.
Brewmaster Monk said, why does Hollywood make movies at all anymore? Limited run TV show is where it's at.
Nope.
Beetlejuice 2 should have been
wrong.
Beetlejuice 2 should have been 10 hours. Also, Taylor Swift is disappointed. Can't expect more from a CIA lesbian. That's out of pocket.
That's out of pocket. Brewmaster Monk, you look, I get what you're saying, but I'm going to have to disagree with you to the tune of 200%.
Wow.
Because as far as I'm concerned, I am sick to death of getting 8 episodes of something
Say it.
every 3 years, and then you second guess yourself. You come back to watch the second season, you're like, crap, I don't even remember what the happened in the first season because a different president was in office when the last season was made.
Yeah.
No, network TV model, 42-minute episodes, 22 of them every single year. Put ads on them for all I care. But 22 episode seasons, let characters that do well evolve and grow with an audience so that more actors that are good at their jobs are rewarded by getting bigger roles as the show goes on. None of this garbage where a series is all written at once. And look, back in the day, that might have worked. Nowadays, I don't trust these writers enough to believe that they can write 8 episodes of great television in a row. Let them find their bearings as they're going, and then the network can cancel them if they're not doing well enough. Reward success, punish failure.
Agreed. The Gnostic Alien said I was joking, Brett. Welcome back, Mary. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Everything's good. Chronicles of Mexico sent a sticker, I believe.
Thank you.
Thanks. Shane H. Wilder said MySpace Records Volume 1 had AFI, Fallout Boy, Tila Tequila. I haven't heard that name in years. She was a Trump supporter, actually. The Plain White Tees. I'm not opening it. It's a piece of internet history. That's cool.
Yes, it is. Hey there, Delilah.
It's a nice find.
How popular is the name Delilah?
Might have had a surge.
I bet you it
at
had
the
a
time.
surge for a year.
But like Tim gave us the backstory, spoiled it for us because he knows the Chicago goss.
I forgot about that.
The Chronicles of Mexico said 3 mics on
The 90s.
on the 90s were bigger. Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and Mike Tyson. Taylor has never broken past her majority white girl base. If Madonna was young now, she would be more popular.
So I'm like, is the idea that if Madonna was trying her whole, I mean, she'd have to change her routine up a bit because Like a Virgin isn't going to hit the same in 2024.
Right. Her brand was unique back then. It's not anymore. Sorrico Productions said, oh, I'm neither. I'm ambipan trans demiverted. Did I do it right?
Perfect.
Potatoes for Seamus said there's no better duo than Brett and Mocha. Change my mind. Taylor Grift is our PCC poster child of what not to do. Taco Bell edding incoming. What?
Grift is now just becoming a word that they use for anybody who has an opinion that they don't agree with. They think like if you have an opinion they don't agree with, you couldn't possibly actually hold that opinion and you must be saying it disingenuously.
Is Taylor Swift a grifter?
No. I mean, I don't know. What does that even mean? What is she's selling you a product that has actual value?
I think what people would question is she voicing her political opinion for a monetary gain?
Oh. Yes.
I think her political opinion is sincere.
But I think that
But she's voicing it for her own
Do I believe she means
benefit.
it? Yes. Do I think that posting it the night of the election with attached
The night of the
merch?
debate, yeah.
Then yes, I believe that there's a connection there.
Yeah. So that could fairly be called a grift. We have another from Cyberchud 2077. Congrats on the baby, Mary. Subtle way to announce. Very tasteful.
Well, nobody does. First of all, we know that that's not true because nobody does anything subtle anymore.
Wait, what baby?
Well, because you were talking about baby names.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
You guys keep reading into everything.
Yeah.
That's not, I'm not pregnant.
What was it?
What?
I don't know what I would. I lost my place. I had something to say and then I've lost it. That's what happens.
Our brains are cooked.
Our brains are cooked. That's what happens. That's
It's
okay.
over. To a crisp.
To a crisp. That got a bunch of likes, so that means that people actually think that that's happening.
Okay.
It's not happening.
I'm not pregnant. Thank you. Thank you for the sentiment, but yeah.
Sketch Therapy says, did the Harris campaign pay Taylor? Yes. Like, I don't know if
Yes?
that's true, but maybe.
Factual?
Like, do they even need to?
Well, I don't think they even need her permission because friendship, I mean, she doesn't own the concept of a friendship bracelet,
Yeah.
right? So they can do that whenever they want. They actually probably had that ready to go just for when Taylor posted her endorsement, and it probably wasn't coordinated between them.
Yeah.
They just knew she was going to endorse eventually, and they had these ready in a warehouse somewhere.
Just proves to you how much work goes into it, how much pre-planning and stuff
The
like that.
Swifties for Kamala.
Yeah. I mean, that's my biggest complaint with all of it is like how quick it all gets done. And you're like, if you don't think that everything's fake, you're not paying close
Totally
enough attention.
grassroots.
Yeah.
That Stanzatastic said, congrats. On what?
There's nothing to be congratulated on. On coming back and doing the show? Well, thank you. We're glad to be back.
Yes.
So get us to a third crisis party before we go.
We're like most of the way there, but we're going to have to sign off.
We are. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already? Sorry again for missing the show yesterday. We are very happy to be back with all of you. And Mary, we're so happy that you're back.
We have a couple more. High Voltage 75 said, when's the baby shower? You won't hear about it. Corey Anderson said, obviously, Mary, you aren't married. Yes, I like to do things in their proper chronological order.
In the right order?
Yes. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
Yeah. All right, guys, if you would like to follow me, Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok because we were banned on TikTok, at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod, which we were banned on for a while and then got the Instagram back, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a whole saga in and of itself.
This week has just been...
It's been a crazy
it's
week.
just not
okay?
my week, okay?
It's not our week. We have a few more. That Stanzatastic said hostage party. JTR said, wow, triplets, Mary, such a blessing. Potatoes for Seamus said, Brett, call Aiden back. Get him on PCC again.
We will have Aiden back.
That was a huge loss.
That was a big loss yesterday.
Feels so bad.
I felt really bad.
There's
about
nothing
all
we
this
could do,
happening.
right?
It was very, very like that. Maybe more than anything was the most frustrating is that Aiden takes time out of his day to come down here and do this show, and we're always very grateful for him doing that. And then to have bullshit happen that prevents it from happening, you know, from going on is annoying.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Okay, we that Stanzatastic said no leave, please, tanks.
So you want us to stay, is what you're saying?
Or are you saying leave, please? I don't know. High Voltage 75 said gender reveal party when.
How do you feel about gender reveal parties in general?
I have stated my opposition to gender reveal parties
Not a
because
fan?
no one cares what your baby is, okay?
See, I think
It's
in
just
the
an
age
excuse
of,
for you to get gifts and cake.
yeah, in the age of gender nonconforming and all of this stuff going on, a little bit of normality isn't a bad thing. People like, you know,
Well, okay, fine. But it's just, it's so like
Self-obsessed.
It's like for social media and like making the whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not. a
everything's
fan.
performative.
It's very. I won't say more because people are going to get offended. DCNC said Brett Derpy Cat Dad suspicious genetics.
That's just rude.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said crisis actors are on one today.
Yes, they are.
You seem to be.
Yes, they are. It's really funny. When I was doing the outro on Monday, it got messed up in order, and I realized that I can't do it unless I say it all exactly in the same order.
You're routine
I was
oriented.
like, like trying to remember all of the audio channels, and I was like, just go check out the Spotify because I couldn't remember all of them because I was like Amazon Music.
Just go.
Yeah, just go. Check the Spotify. With that, no. Courier 60 Set says normalcy, Brett. No.
Normality.
Normality needs to make a comeback. Nobody cares about normalcy anymore. I want normality to make a comeback.
Serenko Productions said, wait, I can't say that. Ukrainian caused us to miss an Aiden PCC episode. Riot! Well, don't worry. He will be back in early October. I'll let you know. Potatoes for Seamus said, I bet Mary will name her son Brett Mocha Morgan.
Well, first of all, Brett with one T is just abominable.
Yeah, with one T. I would never. That's Stanzatastic said, it's peanut butter jelly time. Okay.
With that being said,
we're on
guys,
new levels of brain rot.
We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then, guys. Bye everyone.